once more into the breach. Something my father would say. It's still hard to believe that any of this is really happening. That I am involved in such things. Could just run away, go back home. That would feel like giving up, though. The price is so close now, after all. I need to take it from them. I can't let those bastards get away with the things they've done. I will claim the Minotaur from them, and I then will be the one to keep it safe. I'll lock it away. I'll deny this king of theirs. I will. I won't be defeated. I have my focus and my goal. I'm a little unsure of my friend, though. He sadly has become too fascinated with the horrors we've seen. Still, he's all I have. This is Red Moon Roleplaying.
Iceland in 1926 is a country undergoing rapid change, much like Sweden and Norway. It's just recently become a sovereign state, but it is still in a union with Denmark, so full freedom isn't quite there yet. To foreigners, the island is best known for the barren lava fields, volcanoes, and hot springs. There was also a big eruption in the volcano Katla back in 1918 that created headlines across Europe, something you both remember. Since the turn of the century, regular boat traffic to Europe and America and efficient refrigeration technology for fish and mutton has revitalized the economy. This used to just be a small fishing island in the middle of nowhere, but now the fish that's caught and the sheep, it can be exported and money can be made. So sheep breeding and the fishing industry is booming. Siglufjörður is a small town by a narrow fjord in northern Iceland. Steep mountains make the sea the only reasonable way to get there. And it's been known for many years as a herring Klondike, where, above all, Norwegian herring fishers have established themselves. There's lots of seasonal workers in the summer, and the place has a reputation for lawlessness, particularly during the herring season. This small town is said to have more than 20 speakeasies, which is quite a lot for a tiny fishing village. You are here because the destination of the Hercules was discovered at Popov's home, which was raided after the events at the Twisted Cathedral. The church ledgers from Kingshaven that had been stolen were also found there and showed that the villagers had taken the Shining King to Iceland. They'd brought it with them to hide it here and to start anew. So as you're approaching from the sea on the ship Lyra, you see a string of houses between the water and the high mountains. Wide quays and jetties with stacks of herring barrels that line the water. There's about 20 fishing boats located close to the port. A whitewashed church stands out in the middle of the buildings. Rangel survived the chaos in the Twisted Church and is not with you anymore. He's been sent back to Sweden to stand trial. Holmström, having now seen a number of things that cannot be easily explained, still remains committed to locating Brat and stopping Popov. Whatever happened in that church could be disastrous if applied to a larger population. Waking the Shining King up will most likely allow them to do just that, something that would lead to the death of many innocents. You haven't gotten the feeling that Holmström has really accepted the supernatural aspects fully, but he is coming around to it. As you disembark, Holmström is talking to the locals as the two of you are standing around on the quay. Ljung, how was the journey here? And how are you doing?
I feel like I have holes in my mind from what happened there at the mechanical yard in that room. I remember that they were trying to run in. The others, I was trying to hold back, let the police do their job. And as I came in, it's all blank. I feel like I've lost something, and it's like a splinter in the back of my mind that hurts. And that's how it was as we started out. I was delivered a little brown, inconspicuous package from my newly made friends. they were quick to remember what I asked them on a side. As a side question about the hashish. This is something that I've had in mind ever since I had been reading the transcript of the Unterseekulten. Now, when I was on the boat, I couldn't tear my mind off the possibility of communing with these deep ones in the Sea of Dreams. If they really are an opposing force to this king, or whatever he is, that tried to take control of my mind, if there is something that we don't know, that we don't see, something that is waging a war beyond what we perceive in humanity, yes, that must be it. Then maybe I could contact them. Maybe I could ask for their help or understand something deeper within this conflict. And those were my reasons, though what I said was that I had problems with seasickness as I locked myself into my cabin. And I started burning the hashish. And as I leaned back, I kept reciting the rhyme that had been transcribed for me. First, I tried saying it in Swedish, as it had been transcribed, and then in German as well. And I kept going on there in my cabin as the smoke filled the air, and the sound of the waves was all that could be heard from outside.
You think there was a connection? You saw something in the Sea of Dreams. A small island, huts, people in loincloths. You think you met with them, you spoke with them. But you don't remember exactly what they said. But you have a warm feeling, and not just from the hashish, as you wake up from this communion with the deep ones. You know that they know that you are here and what you are doing. And perhaps you will be able to get their support when it's really needed. Crane, what about yourself? How are you feeling now after everything that you have gone through? After everything you went through in that twisted underground church?
Well, I keep thinking back to what happened immediately after. What do I remember? Where did I awake? I remember the flame. I remember being the only one who stood against the king. But what happened?
You find it difficult to remember details, but you know that as you smashed the skulls, it seemed like things went back to normal, like people woke up from some kind of strange nightmare or sleepwalking, something that was preventing them from being themselves, something that had taken them over. The police officers quickly moved on the cultists, and given that they were armed, were able to round them up. And after that followed raids into the Själagminne community, as well as raids at the White Star offices and raids at the Popov residence. The Norwegian police really cleaned house and rounded up all of the cultists that had been involved in this sacrifice of people, which is what it had been. And just like you could have perhaps guessed, it didn't become a big story in the media. Maybe for the best. It would have gotten everyone to panic reading about people being sacrificed to some strange entity, right?
Oh, it certainly would. Well, most of it's a bit of a blur. I wasn't really paying that much attention to what the police were doing. But I'm glad that it was all sorted, I suppose. Well, I'm currently just looking around with my heavy coat on, smoking heavily. I've been trying to avoid the drink. I don't think it agrees with me anymore. I'm worried about Mr. Young. I kind of wish he wasn't alone in his chambers. He's not really spoken of what happened to him, and I haven't wanted to press it, of course, because I don't want to speak about it either, but I'm concerned. He's spending too much time reading over those notes of his. No, we're here to take back the Minotaur. Then I need to get rid of it. I need to cast it into the sea. I don't want to, but I know I have to. I understand now. I can't let those insects come back. That they can't. It can't happen. So I need to be the one to do it. I'm fiddling with my Colt, looking it over carefully. I don't want to miss again. I find myself thinking, I wonder if this is how my older brother felt when he was on the front lines. I've never really thought about it before, but suddenly I feel similar. Or maybe it was easier for him. After all, he was fighting men. Maybe it's the same. I don't really know.
Indeed. And these are the thoughts that go through your head as Holmström comes back from having spoken to some of the locals. I asked about the Hercules and I found out a few things. The ship arrived about 5 days ago. There were men with rifles that made sure no outsiders came on board. Looking very grim, almost military, the man said. And a tall man in an elegant dark suit, smoking cigarillos, and 2 other men, an Englishman and a Swede, if you can believe it, first paid a visit to the local constable here. They were there for about half an hour, and after that the constable went out fishing, leaving them with full run of the city, which they used. A few hours later, the cigarillo man, which must be Popov, right, picked up 4 more men from the Hercules, and they went on to a fish factory called Hermansson's. People came running out of the factory saying that they'd been assaulted by the crew of the Hercules and brought an almost lifeless Isidor Hermansson back to his home. He's the owner of this fish factory. Seems like he's a Swede and arrived here a bit more than 15 years ago, together with a large group of emigrants. I'm sure you can never guess where they came from.
I stand there and I look with a almost stoic expression. There is a smell around me of a sweet perfume, almost as if it's covering something. And I nod very calmly, thoughtfully, as if I'm almost only half present. But then I snap out of it and I look towards Crane. Yes, they must have, of course, they must have been the ones that fled the village. They came here.
Yes, it's pretty clear what has happened, right? The people from Kingshaven came here, and Popov must have extracted the location of the thing from Isidor, who's presumably their leader. They took guides, it seems. 2 relatives of Isidor joined the Hercules. It seems like they were forced to do so. They are heading there now on that ship because it's not here, and the people I spoke to said that they'd left. And this is a ship that's built for deep sea diving, so they should have no issues recovering anything that's buried out at sea.
Oh, so that's where they brought it?
Yes, that's what it seems to have happened. We just need to find out where, though. We know that it's out at sea, but where? It's massive, right? I was thinking maybe we could get Isidor to tell us where they went. I'm sure he would want to stop the awakening of this king, or what. I'm sure he would want to stop them from doing something potentially harmful. Maybe he might be able to share the location with us as well, and we could follow, see what we can do.
Well, what are we waiting for then? Let's go and find this man and speak to him, and then what? We take our ship, and how many ships do we have? Maybe we should have more than one. We want to outnumber them, right?
We'll have to figure out what to do. I think they have a bit of a head start on us. I think I saw a seaplane around here, though, so we might be able to use that to make our way over to the ship. And then we'll just have to see, depending on where they are, what kind of help we can get, if any. and let's see what we can do. But first things first, we have to find out where they're going.
Yes, find out where they're going and see if we can rally any resistance here. And I don't know, George, if having more ships is going to make the difference. It's probably more about the people and maybe possibly the guns that we have. Where do we go? Towards Isidore's house?
He points to a 2-story house on a hill south of the town. You can see it from a distance. They said it's over there. It's a blue house. That's where Isidore lives. So I suppose we just head over there and see if he's willing to meet with us.
Well, we haven't got any bloody time to lose then. Come on, let's find the location now. We need to step on it.
And there's outside of this blue 2-story house, there's a man holding a rifle standing guard outside. Not very common to see something like that, but then again, it seems like the patriarch of the Hermansson family. It seems like something bad happened to him, so perhaps it's to protect themselves from Popov and his men. Who the hell are you? You with that sumbitch that attacked my dad?
Calm down. No, we are quite the opposite. We are looking to get him to justice.
Justice, you say?
We have followed him here for that very purpose. You see, he did a lot of bad things back in Norway, where we came from. People were killed, and we are looking to make things right.
Let us then see if you can get yourselves in. What skill would you like to use to try to convince this man to let you in and see Isidore Hermansson?
Closest I can think of is some persuasion, I suppose. Oh, that's 9 under 20.
He looks at you and then nods. Yeah, alright, that makes sense. Well, we can use all the help that we can get. Come on. And he starts showing you inside, and inside the house is completely modern. It's got electric lighting and a modern stove. It's very far from the poverty and squalor that you saw in Kingshaven. He's upstairs, the man with the rifle says, and then leads you up to a bedroom where Isidore is lying, his face swollen and bruised, and his hand bandaged in a way that makes you think that it might have been crushed. A sturdy-looking man with a really strong build who looks haunted by what has just happened to him, like he's shrunk from having been assaulted by overwhelming force. Dad, they're looking for Popov. Seems like they're enemies of his, right? The man with the rifle says to you.
As I walk in through the house and I look to George as well, I feel like I'm convincing myself here. I was almost surprised at my own conviction. It says something is riding with me as we go up the stairs, and I come into this room and I look down upon this man. I take out a handkerchief, though, and wipe my forehead, and I say, Yes, we, me and my friends here, we have traveled from Norway, but we are actually, I am Swedish, and we have come a long way from a small village called Kungsskär, where most despicable events have taken place, and followed these people to Norway, where they were trying to do the same thing. And if I'm not mistaken, then maybe you are aware of all these things that have happened, and it was our hope that maybe you would want to see these people come to justice, brought to justice as much as us.
You went to Kingshaven? How were they? How was the pastor?
It was only him left. Wasn't that right, George?
Mostly, yes. I think there's a few others, but not many at all. It's a dying town.
That's right. And the pastor himself, he's very worried about the events. He was, when he first met us in the village, he was very suspicious, and he had a knife with him. Are you close? Were you close?
Yes, but it's a long time ago now. He was a good man, and I will be forever grateful for the fact that he stayed behind. But then you know what's happened. We rebuilt a coffin for that thing that was buried in Kingshaven. We laid it to rest on the seabed, and it's no longer my responsibility. Anyone who approaches it will lose their mind. We lost several to insanity and suicide on the trip over here, in spite of getting help from our friends. I tried telling Popov that he would be leading his men to their deaths, but it's as if he didn't care.
No, he seems quite obsessed with this idea of reviving this king, as they refer to him. I was hoping that maybe we could also find allies who were not so keen on doing this. It revolves around him and this statue of a Minotaur that I'm sure you're familiar with.
Yes, I am familiar. Well, perhaps you or someone can prevent its influence from spreading to land. If it ended up inside a city and awoke there, the loss of life would be catastrophic.
Yes. Well, then that's where you come in. All you need to tell us is where they've gone. That's all we need.
Well, I understand that it's not your responsibility. You have indeed done your part, but if there is anything you can do, I see how much you have suffered because of this. I'm sorry, but it is obvious. If there is any manpower, anyone you think who would join this cause to take revenge on you, you have a sprightly young lad here, and anyone else that could help us, then we could surely use the manpower as well.
Well, I don't know what we have. I might be able to help you out with some equipment, if nothing else, and I can definitely help you with the location of where we buried it. Quickly, son, give me a map. And the son with the rifle comes with a sea chart, and he begins scribbling some coordinates and marks a point on the map that's south of the Westman Islands, which is on the other side of Iceland, on the south side.
I know it might be too much to ask, but do you have any idea how they're planning to retrieve it? I mean, surely if you dropped a coffin into the ocean, you wouldn't be able to retrieve it easily.
I had a brief look at the ship they have. It's the most modern one I've ever seen. The equipment they had there, maybe. We took precautions, and the children of the sea, they tried to help. But he seems very committed to finding it, and he probably also has help from...
Tell me about this children of the sea.
We are family, you can say. We don't see them very often out here, but I think they still have a city close to Kingshaven.
What is their point in all this? Do they want to see the king revived, or would they prefer that he was asleep?
They want the king to be put to sleep, of course. It would disrupt things very much if the king was awoken, if the gate was opened.
How do you usually come into contact with them? I have seen things myself. I have talked to people that looked like, and I start describing them, the people that I saw on the island, and their specific demeanor and ways. And is that how is this how they look?
That might be some of our people. Some of them moved to where the children live. They might be villagers from Kingshaven originally.
I think they know somehow that we are here and what we're doing. I wonder if they can come to help us.
We don't need their goddamn help. You understand that, right? We don't need their goddamn help.
Now, if they're on the same side, why would it hurt to understand?
Whose side, Mr. Young? Whose side? Our side? Really? How do you know that? How do you know they're on our side?
I just know it. I just know it, Crane. They don't want... You heard what he said himself? You heard what Mr. Hermansson said?
Yes, I've heard exactly what they've said. It's not important. Please just tell us where we're going, and that's all we need. Thank you.
Oh, it's right over here. If the ship is out there, if they have indeed taken it out, then the people on the ship would be going mad. It must be complete chaos over there. It might give you an opportunity to to blow it up, to sink it, and sink the coffin with the ship.
Do you have access to anything that we could use to, you say, blow it up? Do you have dynamite? Do you have anything?
Of course. So dynamite you can actually buy in the hardware store. It's not heavily regulated. It's used for very sort of normal purposes, to blow up rocks and the like. So getting a hold of dynamite is not actually much of a problem. If you blow the Kingston valves, then you can sink the ship. And the blood of the men on the ship would allow the coffin to be sealed again. And we could put all this back to rest again.
So you're saying we just need to find their vessel and sink it right there and then, and that'll stop it all. That will solve it.
They will most likely be mad themselves, so we might have a window of opportunity if we just move fast, and if we somehow can come into contact with the children, maybe they can help us place the dynamite.
Well, you could place it inside the ship. And Holmström nods. Yeah, just have to make our way to the bottom, to the valves there. If we could take those out, well, that should be enough to start some serious flooding.
It's a big risk, but yes. Do you have any people you think would be willing to help us? I mean, survivors perhaps, or anyone who witnessed what happened. They don't need to know the whole story, as long as they know that this is a bad person and they're willing to do justice.
He nods to his son. Why don't you join them? And he nods to you. Yes, I'm Niels, he says. I will follow you.
Good to meet you, Niels. I'm Fingal.
And he looks to you, Crane, as well, and to Holmström.
Crane just gives a nod. He doesn't trust these people at all, but he can't think of anything more to say, so he'll just go along with it for now.
Holmström just nods and says, all right, well, I guess we're off to sink a ship then. Thank you, Mr. Hermansson. I guess we shall leave now. Come on, Niels. And he begins moving out, and I guess, Crane, you're following Holmström. And Ljung, just as you're about to leave, Isidor, he motions to you. Come.
I feel a sort of tiredness, a weariness, but we're going somewhere now. It's a good thing. I look back at him. Yes, what?
And then, come closer. I have something to say to you.
Just a moment. You sort out the dynamite, and I'll be with you shortly. And I go over to him.
You seem to be open-minded to all of this. It all rests with you now. Only you stand between the world and Nyarlathotep opening the gate for Azathoth. And he smiles at you. But I'm guessing you have no idea what I'm talking about, do you?
Azathoth? No, I'm afraid I don't. But what can you tell me? What do I need to do?
Just sink the ship, and everything will be fine.
Sink the ship. All right. Yes, I will try to again commune with these children and see what help we can get. And if there's anything else that you can give me, well, we'll sink the ship. Yes,
please. And you see how he is kind of sinking back into his bed, having now exhausted whatever energy he had left. And you leave the home of the patriarch of the Kingshaven emigrants behind and begin arranging supplies. And Holmström has contracted a seaplane that will get you to this location. would hopefully make it easier to spot the ship as well, he says. And he introduces you to the pilot, who's a lady. The plane is a 3-engine Junkers G24. Elin here will take us to where we need to go. Do you have anything that you want to get before we go? I've arranged dynamite. I have extra ammunition for the weapons that we have. Is there anything else you need?
So wait, but I don't understand. Where does the plane land?
Oh, and he points to the plane here, this 3-engine Junkers. You look at these pontoons here, and it is actually in the water right now. And this makes it float, and you can actually land on the ocean with it. It's quite practical, right, Alien? She nods. Yes, it makes a lot of things possible.
Oh, well, so sorry. Forgive me. I've obviously never flown in such a thing before.
First time for everything, she says, and laughs.
So we're going to land and approach the vessel, us 4, and then we lay down some explosives? Or...
I'll do that, if you can just help keep me covered. I don't really know how easy it is to get anyone else to follow us. What we're doing here is strictly... well, it's very illegal, isn't it? We're going to go and sink a ship. It's basically an act of war. And why are we doing it? Because we're going to prevent a king from being awoken? It doesn't make any sense.
I kind of look very gloomy for a moment because I'm a little overwhelmed. After all, I have no idea how I'll be able to do anything in this scenario. But I sigh and I say, all right, well, I guess that's what we have to do then. I'll do my best.
You do your duty, Mr. Crane. Just bring your gun and make sure that, well, Holmström is safe. We shall place the charges and that will be it.
Yes. If what Hermansson says is true, well, it's going to be a ship of fools. No one's going to know that we're even there. And is there anything that you wish to arrange before you leave Siglufjordur?
I huff and I realize that I've written a letter to Anna in case I don't come back. I have one thing, something to be sent, a small letter if I don't come back.
Oh, sure, you should go send it. I mean,
yes.
I hope we can all come back from this.
Yes, I'll be right there. And I start heading off to the post office.
I also had already at this point sent a letter home. Not to my father, of course, but to my younger sister Cecily. It doesn't say anything, of course, frightening or unusual. It's just a little letter saying how I'm well and I'm thinking of her. And, well, maybe that's all that's needed.
It is. And you both are able to send your letters. And the seaplane takes off. After refueling in Reykjavik, you continue to the coordinates that you have been given. There's a light rain that is falling as you're getting closer. It's still possible to fly, but it's getting worse as you're getting closer. I think we're here now, but I can't see, Alien says. Oh, no, wait. All right, there she is. And you can see out through the window in that kind of fog. Yes, that's a ship. That's a ship. It matches the description of the Hercules that you have seen as well.
Well, I don't see many people on board. Well, actually, I don't see much of anything. Elin, will you take us down close to it and we can try to board it?
And she begins doing that, and the seaplane does a fairly bumpy landing on the waves that are becoming more and more violent. Holmström opens the side door on the seaplane and puts a dinghy has been on the side of the ship out into the water. And Elin yells to you from the cockpit, I'll be back on site in 2 hours. It's too dangerous for me to stay on the open ocean like this. Be back here in 2.
And as we've been flying, I've been chewing some chocolate, and I've mixed it a little bit with the remaining herbs of hashish, and I feel a calm coming over me, and a slight warmth warmth mixed with almost mirth. And even despite the pouring rain and the splashing and the waves around, I feel somewhat steady. I just let them come, and I let them feel the rhythm of the ocean. And I look out as I see Holmström trying to find something to latch onto the ship so that we can start getting on ourselves.
I am filled with great trepidation and extremely anxious. I'm not entirely sure why I'm not panicking more. Being in this machine, this flying vessel, I've never been in one before, and now I'm in a storm in the middle of the sea. But I almost feel maybe that's fine, because maybe that's better, dying in a storm in the sea than being devoured by the Shining King from within. But I'm still not calm and holding my cult very carefully and trying my best to weather this environment.
Through the rain that is smashing into our faces, I hold out a bar of chocolate, luxurious chocolate. It's a rarity in these days. And I scream to you, shout over the top of the noise. But you can't really hear it because it's so much noise. Hey, Crane! Have some chocolate!
I look at you as if you're a madman, but then I just grab whatever you hand me and just bite it.
And you get into this little dinghy. Niels is with you as well. He's got his rifle ready. And you're paddling. And you are getting closer and closer to the ship. The hull is painted in a dark blue, and with the shipbuilding itself being white with two black funnels, smokestacks. You can hear the sound of gunfire and screams coming from the ship. Holmström looks to you worriedly. Well, I guess what Hermansson said is true then. Let's just try and make it on board. And he stops the dinghy right next to the hull of the ship, and there's a ladder here that you are able to grab onto. And he begins climbing up to get aboard the ship. What do you do?
I try in the noise of the storm and the rain to call out in confusion. Wait, sir! We need to board the ship? I thought we could put the explosive around the hull! God damn it!
It needs to be done inside the machine room, Crane. We need to go down inside the depths of the ship.
I kind of swear under my breath and start climbing the ladder to the best of my ability.
You do that, and you get aboard. The ship has a high railing and a steel deck. There's a winch, a metal diving bell, 2 air pumps, and 8 diving suits suspended from metal racks where you get up. You also see 2 lifeboats here. There's a few bodies that lie scattered on the deck, and the rain is mixing with puddles of blood. The wind is quite heavy as well. There's a staircase that leads down under the deck, which you see very quickly, and Holmström motions for you to follow him there.
I try and keep low, again, filled with dread. Okay, I see. I suppose if what he says is true, the crew are fighting themselves, or it's like what I saw before, but at the same time, I can't help but feel that there's 4 fools trying to storm a ship, if we're even found by one group. And I try and ignore that feeling as I just do my best to stay down, stay low, and follow Holmström.
I hold on to the railing as the sea sways and the wind and the rain as this. I hold on to the railing as the sea. I hold on to the railing as the ship is rocking, and I feel the rain wet my face. See the puddles of red, the blood, the everything that's going on. I hear the chaos, and somehow through the chaos I find this calm. I follow the others, and I mutter to myself the rhyme from the book, because it seems so vivid, so right now. It's as if the rhyme is almost describing this picture. It goes, I am completely calm. I feel water splashing round my feet. I see a log boat paddled by a man with a white beard. I wave to him. I am completely calm. I feel the water splashing.
And you're reciting that as you are climbing down the stairs to get down and into the inside of the ship. And Ljung, as you're walking down there, you hear sounds coming through the hull. Whispers. You want to put your ear towards the hull to see what you can hear. That's what feels right now.
Yes, I hold on to this railing too, and I lean with one hand against the hull as I let my ear come closer and closer to the walls.
They are here, and they know you are here. The time will come. The time will come.
The time will come. The time will come. And then I see the others moving ahead of me, and I start catching up, feeling encouraged.
Holmström's leading the way. He's got a Tommy gun. And as you are moving through the corridors down here now, you suddenly see a crew member show up out of nowhere. Hasn't shaven for a long time, looks very ragged. He's armed with a rifle. He's firing at something that you cannot see. Holmström motions for you to get in cover.
I dive into cover, getting my gun ready.
Alright, can you roll for stealth, both of you?
5.
Let's see, I roll 33 and over 25, but I believe I can make that work with some luck. So, let's see then. That's 8 luck, if I don't count it wrong. And I'm down to 40.
Alright. And he continues firing and moves in this corridor. Moves in another direction, disappearing. The bullets keep flying, but there's nothing there.
I think they will run out of bullets eventually.
Yes. Come on. It can't be much further. Holmström again takes the lead. There must be one of these two doors. And which one do you want to go for, the left or the right?
I'll move to the left door, got at the ready, and for a moment, now we're actually here, deep in this tomb. Not tomb, a ship, but it'll be a tomb soon, right? I find myself thinking of the Minotaur, because after all, I'd kind of just accepted that when we sunk the ship, well, the Minotaur, it's obviously here and would sink with it, but now we're here, and my mind just thinks, wondering where it could be on this ship.
I put my hand on your shoulder and I give it a squeeze.
All right, old man, lucky door number 1, and I will slowly open the door on the left.
And you open the door, and what you see, you cannot believe your eyes. You're looking out through a transparent, vibrating membrane, and beyond it lies a seemingly infinite plain under alien stars. It's completely quiet. It's impossible what you're seeing, so I'm going to want you both to roll for sanity.
31 under 37.
You lose 1 sanity.
69 over 50.
Roll 1d4.
1.
Then you lose 1 sanity. How do you both then react to seeing this alien landscape? You don't see anything moving, it's just this infinite plane and these alien stars.
I slam the door shut, and when I slam it shut, I then press against it to make sure it stays shut, saying, "No, wrong door, we try the other one, not this door."
My hand is on its way to reach out, and it's just millimeters from being squashed as you close the door, as I was reaching out towards what was on the other side. And I pull it back, slower than a person should. Yes. Wrong door.
Holmström also nods. Maybe this one?
At this time, I wait. I'm still holding this left door shut. I'm going to let someone else open this other door.
Holmström and Nils move up, taking the signal there, and you see that this door leads to a staircase leading further down. This must be it. He begins moving ahead. Do you follow?
Is there a way on the door I'm currently keeping closed of, like, locking it even better?
Yes, you can put something in front of it to block it, making it more difficult to open.
Yes, I find whatever I can and I just shove it towards that door, and I nod and go, "After you, Young, I'll just be a minute."
Yes, I am helping you slowly, getting things in place, not really questioning what is going on, just trusting your instinct in this. And then as you urge me to go on, I go on.
And then you are last, Crane, following Holmström and the rest. And as you get further down, the air here, it seems to vibrate. The steel in the hull and floor creaks and bends. And Crane, you hear the music again, the beeping music, loudly, much louder than in Kingshaven. I want you to roll a sanity.
I roll 87 over 36.
Then roll 1d4.
3.
Alright. Then how does this music affect you?
I begin humming it, and then I start humming it very loudly to try and drown it out, and I kind of stop on the stairway as I say, "It's close. We're getting closer to the king. We need to get this done now. Armstrong, let's go."
And he begins moving faster, and you get into a compartment here, some kind of cargo area, a machine room. It's difficult to tell. And you see the coffin here, surrounded by a circle of 20 of these singing skulls, and this is where this music is coming from. The skulls are anchored together with chains of silver and copper. And the coffin isn't so much an object, but rather an absence of light, about 5 meters long. It's fascinating. The darkness, just like in Kingshaven. And the bull figurine, the Minotaur, it's next to this absence of light, next to the skulls, soaked in blood.
I stop and I stare at this seeming black hole in the middle of the room that is just stretching. It's like looking into a dark night sky without stars. And that's what I do at first. I just stand there and I look at it and I see the skulls. Same old skulls, but these ones, yes, there's a chain between them. And I don't do anything immediately. Is there any other people in the room? I look around at it.
No, Holmström sees machinery, and I think the valves are pretty close. Niels, come on. And he has the backpack filled with dynamite.
Oh, why don't we just blow the whole this?
You can do that if you want. He throws you some sticks of dynamite.
Yes, I think I will. I start bringing it over and merging it with the fuse and getting it ready.
Yes. You're not quite sure, of course, what it's going to do. Will this free the king from the coffin? Or will it destroy it? It is difficult to tell. But the coffin, this absence of light, is indeed there. Crane, what are you doing?
Kind of taking a deep breath, and I'm looking at the Minotaur, and it needs to be destroyed, but surely, if the two things are together, that's bad, isn't it? Maybe I need to just make sure the Minotaur is far away, and I kind of start carefully walking over to the Minotaur, the Kingshaven Minotaur, finally seeing it for the first time, actually, properly, this close anyway.
Yes. It looks just like it looked in the museum and the exhibition. Do you pick it up?
Yes.
Roll POW.
That is a 1.
Most excellent. You feel how the king is demanding obedience. He's demanding that you follow him, that you serve him. But you have stood against him before. You crushed those skulls in the church. He isn't able to get control of you, not this easily. You're holding the Minotaur. It's a powerful artifact.
Yes, it's beautiful. But no, I won't bow to you, King. I won't let you devour me from within. No, I will not let you die here either. I will take you far away, and then, yes, and I kind of just try and secrete the idol on my person as I just watch the others and start making my way to the exit, waiting for the signal to start running.
Right, so you're close to the ladder to get out of here, and you see Holmström and Niels. They're setting up the dynamite next to these Kingston valves here. And Ljung, you have set up some dynamite around the coffin. And as you're doing this, you hear a door slamming open. And the sound of metal canisters, 1, 2, 3, 4, bouncing on the metal floor here. And a whitish gas begins to be emitted. What do you do?
Gas! I take my coat and I start covering my face, trying to finish what I've started.
And the gas, it's tear gas. It fills up this room very, very quickly because it's quite a ship. It's a cramped compartment, really. And you feel it in your eyes, how it's stinging. Crane, what are you doing?
I begin backpedaling up the stairs. I was ready at the exit, and I just start running, saying, "Quick, just get out of there, man!"
And the door slams shut in front of you, the one that you came through, and you're trapped in here. And Holmström, you hear the sound of a Tommy gun going off, and you can see how he's firing against men wearing gas masks. There's 3 of them. And you see how Holmström is hit by a shotgun blast and thrown back into the room. Niels is also hit right after that. And now the gas is filling up this room, and I want you to roll con to see if you can somehow retain control here, or if this extremely painful feeling will make you panic.
I roll 66 over 65, so I'll spend 1 luck point to just make it.
And I roll 96 over 40.
Ljung, you of course feel this extreme pain in your eyes, and how your eyes are watering, and you find yourself trying to protect yourself from this gas, and you start to lose track of what's actually going on around you. And
it's coming down into my throat, and it's the pain of choking, not being able to breathe almost. And as I try to keep it away from my eyes, I just rub them, and I feel like things are just getting further in, and I can't see anything.
And Crane, you see how Holmström, he's down, but he's still alive. He's begging for his life as this man with the gas mask moves up and puts the shotgun against his head and pulls the trigger. His head turns into red mush, and I want you to roll sanity.
41 over 33, so I need to spend 10 luck points to just, again, make it.
You lose 1 sanity then, as you see this person you'd gotten to know now quite well see him die this violent death. And the men with the gas masks are beginning to come up to you now. What do you do?
As I'm able to somehow resist, if only for a moment, the stinging sensation in my face, I keep my eyes open. And it hurts, but it doesn't matter, because what I'm seeing I need to see. And I yell out, although it probably comes out as a bit of a cough, as I raise the gun and just point it at the dynamite. "I'll goddamn shoot! Stop, or I'll goddamn kill us all, man!"
And you're pointing the gun in that direction, and you see how they're hesitating. And Ljung, you hear in your mind a voice that says, "Now." And the ship, it rocks violently as if some great force had taken a hold of it. Water starts spraying into this compartment, somewhat alleviating the impact of the tear gas that's around you. And the 3 men, they're thrown to the floor. You can hear screaming. You begin to regain your senses again. And Crane, you are thrown against the steel floor here. You bump your head a little bit. It hurts, but you think you're all right. You see that the men are down. 2 of them, you think they must have dropped their weapons. One looks like they're knocked out. What do you do?
I attempt to steady myself, wincing in pain as I smack my head against the metal, and I try and, with my free hand, shoot one of the ones that's on the ground.
You move up then, and the distances are very short here. You're right on him. You can't miss. He's still got a gas mask on, and he's like, no, don't kill me. Do you still shoot?
Yes.
Then you shoot, and you hit right through the eyes on the gas mask, and you see how it turns red. And Ljung, what are you doing?
As the ship cringes, I try to hold on to the floor, which I'm already down on, and hear the voice. And I try to get fresh air into my lungs. And I try to start moving towards the dead. Holmström, perhaps I can... Or how are we supposed to set these charges off, anyways?
It's a fuse, so you just need to light the fuse, essentially. It's a longish one, so you should have time to get out of there.
Yes, I see people being thrown down on the floor. I try to be inconspicuous and start crawling my way towards where the fuse is set, so I can set it on fire.
Yes, and you get up to the fuse, and just as you're there, one of the men who's been taken down is crawling towards you, rips off his gas mask, and you recognize him. It's Brat. You.
Brat, you bastard! You're trying to doom us all!
And you have your weapon, and you see how he's reaching for his weapon, his sidearm. He is going to shoot you.
I try to grab a hold of Holmström's Tommy gun so that I can turn it to him and just blast away with the full automatic.
Alright, then let's roll for dexterity here to see if you are faster than he is.
That is 41 under 55.
And then you beat Brat. So you're able to fire the gun. How does it look like when you kill Brat?
I am somewhat finding momentum here as the ship rocks and the gun slides over to me. I grab it, I just swing it over. I've never used one of these before, but I just hold it the way I saw Holmström held it, and it's straight into Brat's surprised face as I squeeze the trigger and just see these small splashes at the back of his head, and his face just gets distorted by all these bullets going straight through his head.
Crane, you're up now, and you see that there's one man still there. He's trying to get to his gun. He still has his gas mask on. The clothes he's wearing, it's a dark suit, very elegant.
Popov? Popov, that's you, isn't it, old man?
Yes, and you say that, and since the gas has now mostly evaporated, he takes off his mask, and you see that it is indeed him, and he has this crazed look on his face. It's all inevitable, don't you understand? What awaits us all? What awaits you? You're one of us. The throne of madness, it awaits us.
I'm not one of you. I'm better than all of you, goddammit. I'll see you in hell. And I fire at him from my position.
And you fire at Popov. And Ljung, you have put the fuse on fire, I gather, then.
I was able to salvage Holmström's lighter as well. I see my dead, friends or allies in this, and as you are saying what you're saying, George, buying time, you hear the clicking of the lighter in the background as it's rolling, and I am setting the fuse on fire.
You are, and Popov slumps down as you have killed him, Crane, and the fuse is now on fire. What do you do?
I look back to that door, which slammed shut, and I'll try and get it open again. Surely it just didn't lock, right?
It doesn't seem to have locked, no, and you're able to get it open.
I stumble a little as I imagine the boat once again sways in this storm and sways back on the ocean, probably going from the right to then the left, and I stumble to the left and I just sort of begin running up the stairs. I look behind me saying, "Ljung, run, old man, just run!"
And Ljung, are you trying to escape then?
I stumble up. I see the waves toward hitting the windows and the water coming in. I can't help myself but stumble up towards one of the windows and look out.
And you see how they are swimming out there. They were the ones who rocked the boat. They were the ones who helped save your lives. They're out there. If you can just get into the water, maybe they can save you. But you have to go now. You have to go. You see how the fuse is burning.
Yes, but there's no way I can squeeze through these little windows, even with the holes that they made. I try to steady myself as I stumble after Crane, as I see him disappear up the stairs and through the door.
Yeah, and you lose track of him, and you make it up to the top, and you see the railing, and where the hell is Crane? Crane, you are about to move out, and you see a bright light behind you in the room, and it just draws you in. The coffin, you see it opening, and a massive being, 3 meters, no more. It stands up in an armor of bronze and gold, and it reaches its hand out to you. "George, follow me. We will sail towards absolute victory." And since you have the Minotaur with you, I want you to roll for sanity one final time.
9 under 32.
Roll a d4.
1.
Indeed. 1. And you regain control. Yes, you can still get out of here. You don't have to follow what it says.
No, I told you before, I'm better than you. I'm better than you, Shining King. I'll prove it. And I just run. I run from this light, this horrifically beautiful light, but behind it I can see the crawling swarms of locusts and bees and spiders and flies. I know it's there, and I refuse to be devoured by them. I'd rather be devoured by the fish. And I run.
You run, and I want you to roll for dexterity as you're trying to make your way out. You're a bit lost. This isn't the way that you came. Can you make it up before things go bad?
So I roll 80 over 50. Can I use all 30 of my luck points?
You can indeed.
In that case, that is all my remaining luck points spent to just make this roll.
And you see yourself making your way up to the top of the ship, and the dinghy is down there, and the ship rocks wildly as you're standing there, and Ljung, you find yourself falling off the railing of the ship into the water. And Crane, you see this happening as you're yourself thrown to the deck.
There's nothing I can do. Damn it all, I try and raise myself up and just dive for the one of the lifeboat dinghies, just dive into it.
And you do that, and Ljung, you fall into the water, but you feel yourself caught suddenly, carried to the surface by gentle arms. You think you see... Is that Elise? Smiling at you, breathing through her gills. No, it cannot be. That's impossible. You hear a cascade of explosions on the ship, metal groaning, as the ship begins sinking into the deep. And then there's a sound of a seaplane approaching. And we will go into epilogues. We will begin with Crane.
Very good.
You're back in Stockholm. You're enjoying that bottle of scotch in your apartment. How have the last few weeks affected you?
Well, I'm not entirely sure. I'm sitting there, drinking the scotch, laughing. The very first thing I would have done is once the seaplane was somewhere far away, I threw it. I threw it into the sea, deep into the sea. I looked at that beautiful statue one more time, thought of all the riches it would bring, and I threw it into the ocean. But what happened to Mr. Ljung? I would have, in the lifeboat, when I regained my senses, I would have looked for him. Where was he?
Oh, he was there. And you both made it back.
Oh, good. Did I see him floating in the water or something?
Yes, you did. You were able to get into the dinghy, and an alien came and picked you up with the seaplane, and you made your way back to civilization, to Stockholm, where you are now. And the scotch tastes nice.
It does, yes. No, it's good. I found Mr. Ljung, and I brought him back on the boat, and yes, and I threw it into the ocean, and I feel so much better now. I feel fine, and there's good scotch, and we did it. We sent them to hell. Brat and Popoff, burning in hell. I'm not, though. I'm fine. I'm good.
You are good. You are good. And that Minotaur, you threw it into the sea. You wanted to throw it into the sea. You really, really wanted to throw it into the sea.
Yes, I did, and I remember I did it, and it's in the sea now, and yes.
Yes, and it's looking so beautiful there on the shelf. And you're starting to understand what Wrangel was talking about in his notebooks. Yes, it's so beautiful. It really deserves to be worshipped. And it's all yours. It's all yours. And you look at the descriptions that you've made of the Minotaur, and you think you're getting close to finally being able to put into words just how beautiful the Minotaur is. And it will take more time, yes, but you have all the time in the world to find the right words.
Yes, and you know, and I'll to keep it safe and take it to London, and there it will be safe in the sea in London, because that's where I throw. That's where I throw. Yes, no, I didn't throw it on the plane. I throw it in the sea in London, in a box that I'll keep it in. The box I'll keep it safe in the basement for a while. I need to find the right place to throw it. Not the.
Yes, of course. Yes, you have to find the right place to throw it, and you're thinking about that. Where is that right place going to be? It's if you're gonna think of it soon, and the straitjacket doesn't even chafe anymore as the orderly offers you a sip of tea. This padded room, maybe, yes, here it can rest here together with you, and you can travel across the universe through your mind from this little room. Your place at the court, it's secured, and the music, it begins growing and growing. What do you do?
Hi. Yes, because obviously I am better than the Shining King. That's why he respected that I stood against him, and thou, the scotch, the woman brings. You brought the wrong scotch. This is the tea. That's fine. I'll work out where to throw it, and then I'll sit on the court, and I'll sit on the court, and Ljung will be there because he got back in the boat. I saved Ljung. I didn't let him become a fish.
No, of course not. And the music grows to a deafening, glorious crescendo, and all becomes shining light. Ljung, you and Anna, you're underwater. The sea outside Kingshaven. The beach, the one she went into. She's swimming ahead, Elise is. She holds your hands, and she's leading you through a narrow opening in the bottom. It leads you into some kind of tunnel. You begin to worry if you will have enough air to make it back up, but it's fine. You can hold your breath a very long time now. Much, much longer than you could before. But you almost begin panicking as you see the surface. The sun is shining down on you. And as you get up, it's as if gravity has just been reversed. What was up is now down. You're fine. Elise is swimming ahead, and you see an island up there. A settlement of sorts. Simple huts covered with sealskins, hidden behind large rocks. People who clearly have the blood of the deep ones, dressed in loincloths, have gathered and await you as you get out of the water. Elise moves up to them, and you stand there with Anna. What do you do?
I have never been a spiritual man. With my parents being devout Christians, I wanted to take another way. The items I have dabbled in have never been those of the religious. It's been a conscious choice, because I've never felt that. Until recently. What with these events, I understand that there is something else. There is a deeper, if you will forgive the pun, connection to be made. And now, as we are here, well, it took some convincing of Anna to get her to first move to Kingshaven and take these steps that we needed to take. But she was hurt, both spiritually, mentally, and physically, from what had happened in her past. She could see that there was something else as well. She was willing to come with me, and being here with her, with Elise, now seeing these people like this for the first time, I nod to myself, and I know, in a way, that I have reached my destination.
She wanted to show us. Anna says to you, I think I understand now. These are her people. This is her home. She leans towards you.
It can be our home, too, I think.
Are you sure? Can this be our home? From now until the end of our days?
Oh, Anna, you probably have a longer time than I have, but if I could spend them with you and a family, this, I think, is just that. That would be all I could ask for.
Yes. She moves to kiss you, and you feel the webbing between her fingers caressing the gills on your neck. And you share a beautiful kiss on this island overlooking the Sea of Dreams. And this will be your home now, from now until the end of your days. And the Kingshaven Minotaur comes to an end. You have listened to an episode of Red Moon Roleplaying, where we played the Kingshaven Minotaur for Call of Cthulhu 7th edition. This adventure was written by our friends Gunilla, Jonsson and Petersen for the Swedish edition of Call of Cthulhu that is published by the fantastic folks at Eloso Publishing. The music is from the Cthulhu, Nyarlathotep, Yog-Sothoth, Shub-Niggurath and Asatoth compilations by our friends at Cryochamber. Check them out at cryochamber.bandcamp.com or their YouTube channel for more game music for your table. We've also used the official soundtrack for the Swedish version of Call of Cthulhu, composed by none other than our friend Andreas Lundström from Sweden Rolls. We would like to give massive thanks to our champions of the Red Moon, Martin Heuschober, Nastasia, Raulerson, Simon Cooper, David, Julia, and David Hagberg for their generous support. And we would of course also like to thank all of our other patrons. Without your support, the show would not be possible. If you want to support our work, please check us out on Patreon. You can get access to bonus campaigns for Cult of Infinity Lost and Coriolis there, as well as get early and raw access to all of our recordings. You can also hear your name read on the show as a champion of the Red Moon, as well as play Cult with us. Most importantly, that support is what keeps the show going, so do check us out there. And remember, that is not dead which can eternal lie, and with strange eons, even death may die.